Coming off the back of UFC 281, Israel Adesanya has actually said he was going to pull out of his fight with Alex Pereira after suffering a PCL injury back in July at UFC 276 when he faced Jared Cannonier. Now, the PCL runs along the back of your knee and connects your thigh bone to the top of your lower leg bone, and it basically just keeps the bones in place and helps your knee move slowly. And the reason I mention this is because, not taken away from Alex Pereira's amazing TKO win over Adesanya, maybe this PCL injury could have led to the knockout actually, or the TKO actually taking place. Now, Adesanya did state that for about 3 weeks of his camp, he was just boxing or throwing low leg kicks in sparring, and after about 3 weeks to a month, he was taking strong leg kicks from Carlos Ulberg, who he stated is the strongest kicker in the gym, but maybe it wasn't fully healed. And like I said, I believe maybe if it wasn't fully healed, this could have led to Adesanya's TKO loss, because MMA Guru mentioned this. He believes that Adesanya broke his foot in about round 5, and obviously in round 5, Adesanya, quotation marks, got dropped because I can't remember if Alex either kicked out his leg or it was checked by Adesanya, but his leg went. Obviously, he rolled backwards. He quickly got back to his feet, but about a minute later, that was when he was TKO'd because his leg went, he rolled backwards, he found himself circling back to the cage. Alex then found him loaded up, big shots, obviously leading to a stoppage, whether you want to believe it was early or not. And it's worth mentioning because we don't, obviously Alex has got dynamite in his hands, and I thought Alex was going to knock him out anyway. I think the TKO probably could have happened anyway, but it's just very interesting to see that Adesanya had this injury. Now, we didn't say which leg it was in, if it was a leg that got taken out, but you know, he did, when it was checked or when it was kicked, he rolled backwards, the leg was taken out, and then he did come onto the press conference, post-fight press conference, limping a bit, struggling a bit, so it seems he did do some damage to that leg. I'm sure he would have come out and said it by now, but I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. But I thought it was just worth mentioning that because who knows? If Adesanya did have an injury going into it, is it what led to the TKO? I personally think if they were to rematch, Adesanya probably would lose again, and he maybe even gets TKO'd earlier, because I believe Pereira was winning round 1 up until that little exchange at the end. So even though it was 3-1 to Adesanya, you could say 2-2, and obviously Pereira will have time to change the grappling. But this isn't going to be a video breaking down a possible rematch. I'm not going to break down a possible rematch because I don't personally think they should rematch or rematch straight away. We're going to do some fantasy bookings. That was meant to come out yesterday, but obviously, unfortunately, we found out that Rumble Johnson had passed away. And then I was going to do it today, and I found out that Adesanya had said about this injury. So, isn't a lot to go off. I just thought it was worth mentioning once again. And I know I'm repeating that a lot, but once again, there wasn't a lot of information. It was literally what I've just said about how he done his PCL and Cannonier fight, and then he stopped taking kicks for about 3 weeks. He wasn't training kicks, he wasn't sparring with kicks, and then obviously he was taking Ulberg's kicks, who he believes is the hardest kicker in the gym. But back to my point, I don't think they should rematch straight away, because Adesanya's lost 3 times to him now, even if 2 of them were in kickboxing, and one of them's quite dodgy. But who knows? We'll probably see the rematch. If it gets announced, I'll break it down. But until then, I won't. And we'll do some fantasy matchups. Hopefully tomorrow. We'll do some Derek Lewis versus Spivak Fight Night predictions this week. And yeah, protect yourself at all times. I'll see you in the next one.